everyone. January is definitely running fast and the weather is amazingly dry. In today's episode of News Generation, a discussion about fuel price decreases. Have you ever milked a cow? Well, our reporter Eric did not even try to, but 11-year-old Ali is an expert. And it's dry, windy, hot and hazy. Yes, it's the Harmattan. How are you coping? You're watching News Generation. We are online on facebook.com/newsgenerationgh and on Twitter at newsgengh. Richard Jangba is 17. He is in hospital for surgery. He fell from a coconut tree last September after his teacher had asked him to pluck him a coconut. Doctors say he is paralyzed and needs surgery, but his parents cannot afford the cost.
Richard is a student at Abuabo Sonko Presbyterian Junior High School near Suhum in the Eastern region. At the time of our visit, the school was still on break after the Christmas and New Year season. From hospital, Richard told us his story. He told us his science teacher, known as Sir John, had asked him to pluck coconuts and threatened him when he said he could not climb the tree. Obeying the teacher, he tried to climb the coconut tree but fell to the ground.
Go school now, and teacher said, "Minkotiku man." Na Satan ya do school compound of Flabufla back say, "Minkotiku be na mikachen say, Minimfro." Intina baby dan in chain of Faban, so Mancotia babulum. And I'm semi fresh school for me and son, Eddie Mechi say and cut. Until me coffee made do Kubinas na me coffee. Until me for na me cocoa with them na met Kubina Misawi, a win a mere messi. Until me do we so and some me na me wine and be bofo. From Mentiman so debut. In Kualanum back who teachers went to my pala, I know I'm faka a soon.
According to Richard's parents, the said teacher and school authorities agreed to foot the medical bills, but after paying 360 Ghana cedis, they are now reluctant to do so.
They said they will bear any necessary cost that will come to this thing. So we have also accepted, but we have waited them. We have waited for some time, and then they didn't come. So I went there again before they came. So when they came and then pleaded that they will find some money for us so that we treat the boy.
The response from the school, they are not forcing. That is what I'll say. Because sometimes when we need the money to buy the drug, we call them, they will tell you stories. Tomorrow they are coming. Tomorrow they are coming. Even the one taking good care of the child here, the brother, even finding the money to eat is very difficult. So normally I call them, they will tell you a story that we should help. Later they will come. And when you call them to, they will tell the same story. And they are not helping.
Richard needs 7,000 Ghana cedis for corrective surgery. So his mother is asking for help.
Me near Shimbia woman Banimo says, and I see Nancy or Coba as I say that way. Nancy, better than Nancy means to see the middle. Me him wife said, me baby, I'm a fibuma. Just a me dream cram and tears. They say no other one, dear one, I mean, here say, we will be better me a boamina, what to me a sorry, I dran in as one Nancy. To me, Nancy Crana went to me and yet, maybe I know no more crapwa, my fanny, sir.
Well, human rights lawyer Francis Sosu says he will go to all lengths to get the state to bear the cost of the teacher's misconduct, which has caused Richard's paralysis. And Richard's doctor, Dr. Dodi Abdallah, says if funds are raised quickly enough for him to undergo surgery, he could be on his feet walking again. What do you think about the 10% reduction in fuel prices? Well, President John Dramani Mahama has described the reduction as significant, something he says Ghanaians should appreciate. But some people think the president's comments are not appropriate. Some students of Cosmos School in Accra had a discussion about this. Let's hear them.
The National Petroleum Authority announced a 10% reduction in petroleum prices early this year. following the fall in prices of crude oil on the world market. This reduction the president has described drastic. However, some pressure groups in Ghana says the 10% decrease is insignificant. So I have some pupils or students from Cosmos schools here in Accra, and we're going to have a small discussion on this issue.
I'll have to agree with the pressure group. This reduction is, in normal terms, it should be considered microscopic. If we have an idea that on the world market, the prices of food have been reduced drastically, and we come to our country having only a 10% decrement, then we should begin to wonder what our president and the others who are helping him manage the country are doing.
I find some sense in what the president is saying. His idea that even the 10% reduction is drastic. I think his idea that we should even increase it again, so that as the fuel prices, crude prices are reducing on the world market, he's saying that we shouldn't reduce them, so that the money that they will keep would be used to kind of buttress or cushion the prices when they move up again. Saying 10% is a drastic reduction in fuel prices, I don't think it is very, very reasonable. Looking at this, taking 35% of the money they have already gained from this crude business, I don't think the president should be in the right position to say that 10% decrement of crude oil in Ghana is drastic, because it doesn't make sense.
I agree with my colleagues. I think the government should go by the national market, the international market. If they increase the price there, they should also increase it. And if they decrease, they are also supposed to decrease. But their problem is that they don't think about the citizens. They sit there and think about what befits them, and they don't think about the poor people in the country.
Following the reduction of the fuel prices, now the GPRTU has also decreased transport fares by 5%. So what do you think about this?
There had been a 10% decrement, and they reduced by 5%. So the other 5%, where is it going? And how much is 5% when we translate it into monetary value? If someone is paying 50 pesos from maybe from La Paz to Abeka, and then there's a decrement of 5%, how much do we consider this? And which bus conductor is going to get that amount of change? It is considered insignificant. I don't even think the 5% should have been made. Then they should maintain the normal prices if that's what they are going to do to us, because we are not even sure the 5% they are going to for anything. They are going to fill their bank account, take care of their children, and then this will, the dependency ratio is going to increase. Why do you think there's so much corruption and bribery in our nation? Because we are having bad leaders who do not think about the citizens. They are only concerned about themselves. They want to be rich, and then to the disadvantage of the entire country.
According to the reduction in the GPRTU transport fares, if somebody is paying 1 cedi from, let's say, Cosmos School to La Paz Market, he must pay 95 pesos. And in Ghana now, we don't have 5 pesos in our denomination, because to some of us it doesn't exist.
If they don't want to decrease it, they should just maintain it like that. But decreasing it by 5%, it doesn't make any sense. So I just think they are trying to make fun of us.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your views. But viewers out there, remember, these are the views of these young people and not from the News Generation team. But if you are home and you want to join us on this discussion, you can go to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/newsgenerationgh.
Young Fulani boys herd cattle every day and pick up other skills while they look after the herd. Ali Boli is 11 and he has been milking cows all his life. He learned this at a tender age and is now quite skilled. Let's catch up with him.
Ali's family has lived on this ranch for more than a year now, and they have about 100 head of cattle. Fulani boys are expected to head and milk cattle every day. Milking cows is an art passed down from generations, and Ali milked 100 a day with his father. Ali then explains how he does it. He has a bow and rope. He uses the rope to tie a calf to its mother, whilst he milks the cow into the bowl. The cows are released one after the other to attract the attention of their mothers so they can feed. According to Ali's father, milking cow can sometimes be dangerous.
Yeta kumita bile kone nema kumifia voku mi deke ne ko gbeto ele ne nema gbelegbe yaji atave alo beleve ha ko ele boko.
Ali enjoys his work, but there are so many flies. Selling dairy products is common among the Fulani people. They also take their products to Adaklugwepe to sell. A significant amount of Fulani are nomads. This means they have no fixed abode, but move from place to place. It is difficult for children of nomadic families to attend school because they are often on the move in search of pasture for their head. Being the eldest of 5 children means Ali has to put on hold his dream of going to school.
Madia yiga kede eponye ha nyere kakoyo ni doha esese ifie sese melesinye yeta yeko ele pelentinye bebebe sekwa madide ga ke ega kumilo.
New to News Generation this year is business and finance. And in our maiden business news, it's dry, hazy and dusty. This is the kind of weather many dread. The Harmattan is here and many people find it hard to cope with the weather as they try to battle the dryness and the uncomfortable heat. But it is also the time when those who sell shea butter do brisk business.
Harmattan comes with cold, dry rains, which mean lots of dust and in some cases feeling both hot and cold at the same time. Those who sell cold and frozen foods feel the pinch.
Harmattan buy na mun tonsio. Nti sese min tonsio bebesa. Nti anka Harmattan ko e di anka metuma tonsio. Eye nyi so yimo bi o sinti na Harmattan na bantonsio na yin too much. Mitumi ton 4 bags and 5 bags. Sese Harmattan buy mitumi ton 2 bags.
Elizabeth is also one of them.
But as I said, Jumani they said they knew. Whether no, yento she. And I went on the way and said, dear Muye, yento. Ya the background, Obita cry, I just say, Mimpede Muye. The Muye is a beggar of Pede Muye say, yento she. Mimiamina to make what is at 10. But as I see, the word and I no bar, Wakwa 2, 1, 2, Asa.
There are others who feel the season is good for them. It is the perfect time to boost the sales, especially in shea butter. Many use it to overcome the harsh dry conditions by using it as a moisturizer to keep their skin supple.
Ye tonso time I have a tie by there. Ni wedding so am tonso they are complaining it. I say ni wedding. First na ni boy nye this say ni wedding tema ye tomum so ya yi safron kakra. They uton abia 3 million or 2 million. This ya to me ton at 6 million, 5 million, 7 million. Ya to a day.
In the last couple of years, the sale of shea butter has gone up due to its recognition as a natural moisturizer with healing properties. Shea butter is certified as a source of vitamin A, which is important for improving a number of skin conditions, including blemishes, eczema, and the treatment of skin allergies. Before you step out to buy shea butter, you should know there are various types on the market.
In a natural one from the north, I make a one, I make a feel no fiano. She yellow one, if a tamale be a footwall. A mamma ye, and then when a cocoa batani, I feel the mabiene no. Because I can feel massaging, boy with jammy oil, a jaw flames, so yeah, mommy.
Shea butter is not just a moisturizer, it is also used in food preparation. That is a story you should look out for in our next business edition.
Well, as some people cash in on the Harmattan season, we do a quick explanation about what it is.
The Harmattan is a seasonal wind which blows across northwestern Africa into the Gulf of Guinea every year from November through March at irregular strengths. The dry and hazy or cloudy wind reduces moisture, which can lead to hot days and cool nights. This famous wind blows from north to south, working its way across the Sahara to the Gulf of Guinea. Along the way, it tends to pick up sand and dust, turning into a very dry, dusty wind. When the Harmattan really gets going, the dust can create a cloudy haze which can sometimes intensify into a sandstorm. A sandstorm is a windstorm that lifts up clouds of sand or dust. When the dust in this wind gets thick enough, it can bring activities to a halt as people cannot go outside to trade or socialize. Harmattan winds have also particularly interrupted flight schedules, caravans, and other economic activities across the Sahara. A caravan is a procession of wagons, camels traveling together in a single file.
So the just ended Consumer Electronics Show had 3,500 top tech companies showing off their latest gadgets. There were cool stuff and some controversial ones. One of which led us to ask you if you would mind wearing a watch which allows your parents and guardians to keep track of where you are. We had some interesting answers. Nketia Fosua Evelyn says, yes, I will. And Obed Efum says, yes, I would like to do so. This will help them track me in case of kidnapping. Very interesting. Now, Kwame Asari says, no, if it's a way to extend their parental supervision. Parents must establish trust and discipline, that is making the child wise enough to know the right place to be at any point in time. If for security, then I should have the option of switching it on or off. I can't mention that name, but he says never. Trev Paul says nah. Emmanuel Kofi Faculty says probably not. I must also enjoy a little freedom and move about wherever I may choose to be. Wisestone GH, last comment, honestly I would not, because who knows, I may be with my girlfriend somewhere chilling up and not knowing my parents are tracking me down. That's unacceptable to me. Well, there are a lot more interesting comments. You can visit our Facebook page to see what we have there. Let's now check out some other stories in News Round.
Vice President Kwesi Emisa Arthur has warned the people of Alavanyo and Nkonya in the Volta region that the violence between them will no longer be tolerated. The two communities have been involved in a bloody conflict over dispute land for 91 years. There have been fresh clashes following gunshots that left one person dead. The violence in the two communities has continued despite several attempts by government, religious leaders, and other groups to stop it. The Vice President reminded the people there cannot be a winner in the conflicts between the communities. Yaya Toure has been named the best player for the continent for a record fourth straight time after beating Vincent Nyama and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at a ceremony in Lagos. The Ivorian, who beat off competition from local favourites Vincent Inyama and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, equals Samuel Eto'o's 4 titles but becomes the first player to win in back-to-back years. The 31-year-old scored 20 goals in 35 Premier League appearances for Manchester City in the 2013-2014 campaign as they held off Liverpool's challenge by 2 points. British tennis star Laura Robson won't be playing in the Australian Opens this year, the first Grand Slam of 2015. Laura hasn't played since losing in the first round of last year's Australian Open. She then had to have surgery on her wrist in April. But the former British number 1 won't be away from tennis much longer, as she plans to return to action in February. Tottenham Hotspurs have banned the selfie stick in their stadium. The extendable sticks are used with smartphones and cameras to capture a better selfie. The sticks were banned already from games, but after a complaint from a fan, the club has said they will be confiscated if brought onto the grounds. The first game with the ban in force was the 5-3 win against London's rival Chelsea. Selika rebels in the Central African Republic say they should get a reward for capturing a Ugandan militia leader wanted for war crimes. Dominic Ongwen, a senior commander in the rebel Lord's Resistance Army, was taken into US custody this week. The US had offered up to $5 million as a reward for information leading to his arrest, transfer, or conviction. A Selika commander said the rebel leader was captured after a 25-minute battle, after which they informed US forces in the area. But a US official had said that he had changed sides before being handed over to their forces. Selika rebels created months of lawlessness in the Central African Republic when they seized the capital, Bangui, in 2013. Microsoft's founder, Bill Gates, has revealed a machine that turns human poo into drinking water, generating power in the process. The businessman is trying to raise awareness of a huge problem in poorer parts of the world, where over 2 billion people can't get access to fresh water. Now, a company in the US has produced a machine called an omniprocessor that not only safely gets rid of feces, but converts it into water that's safe to drink and produces electricity to spare. Its makers are hoping that if they can't get it working in developing countries, it could save millions of lives every year. Bill Gates publicly demonstrated his commitments to the new technology by drinking a glass of water on camera that entered the machine as feces just minutes before.
The world is talking about the killing of the Charlie Hebdo magazine staff in France and the subsequent chase, standoff, hostage situation and killing of those who carried out the murders. It had been a tense week after gunmen murdered the journalists after they had depicted the Prophet Muhammad in a way they did not like.
A black Citroen C3 drove up to the Charlie Hebdo building in Rue Nicolas Appert. 2 masked gunmen, dressed in black and armed with assault rifles, got out and approached the officers. They burst into number 6, Rue Nicolas Appert, before realizing they had the wrong address. They then moved down the street to number 10, where the Charlie Hebdo offices are on the 2nd floor. There was a fatal attack on the French magazine Charlie Hebdo, which left 12 people dead, leaving others injured. Prosecutors say they are treating it as a terrorist attack. The attackers are said to have shouted, "We are Al-Qaeda, Yemen." They are reported to have been angered by the magazine's playful depiction of Prophet Muhammad. A policewoman was killed in Paris, while a petrol station was robbed at the same time. The death of the policewoman and hostage-taking in Paris by a separate gunman was linked to the Charlie Hebdo suspects by French authorities. As police searched for the Charlie Hebdo attack suspects, a lone gunman shot 2 people in the southern suburb of Montreux. The gunman, armed with a machine gun and a pistol, shot dead a policewoman and injured a man before fleeing. French authorities initially dismissed any suggestion of a link between the shooting and the Charlie Hebdo killings. On Friday, January 9, police closed in on Charlie Hebdo attack suspects at Damathin Ngoel from Paris. The suspects were held up in a printing firm on an industrial estate on the outskirts of the town. Police had pursued them along the N2 road northeast of the capital after the brothers stole another vehicle near Montagne Sainte-Félicité. Explosions and shots could be heard from the building in Damathin Ngoel as officers launched an assault. Both suspects were killed and a hostage was released. Minutes later, explosions were heard at a supermarket in Paris as police went in. The hostage taker there was also killed and some hostages were freed. Police told French media that 4 hostages in the supermarket had been killed prior to security forces storming the site. Politicians and journalists across the globe have widely condemned the shooting as an attack on freedom of speech and the press. The terrorist act has received this wide condemnation because it is seen as a big threat to press freedom. As a result, there's been massive outpouring of grief for the victims of the Charlie Hebdo massacre and their families.
That will be all for News Generation in this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.